Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing great. In today's video, we are going to learn MySQL from scratch. If you haven't installed MySQL Workbench, don't worry. I have already uploaded a complete installation video. You can find that link in the description. Once you have installed MySQL, come back to this video because today we will create our first database, first table, insert data and understand the basic concepts of SQL. By the end of this video, you will understand what is database, types of databases, what is SQL, database structures, tables, creating database, creating tables, inserting data, SQL data type, SQL commands and constraints. So without wasting any more time, let's begin the topic. First of all, let's understand one simple question. What is a data? A database is simply a structured collection of data. Imagine you are running a college. You have thousands of students. If you store all student information in notebook, finding one student detail would take a lot of time. Instead, we store everything digitally inside a database. A database allows us to store data, organize, retrieve, update, and delete the data efficiently. Examples include banking systems, e-commerce websites, hospital management, school management, railway reservations systems. Almost every application uses databases today. So databases are managed by special software called a database management system, such as MySQL, Oracle, or MongoDB. They are ensure data security, accuracy, and accessibility for authorized users. Databases are used in almost every field from banking system to e-commerce websites where customer details, transactions, and product information are stored. In simple terms, a database makes handling large amount of data efficient. If we are talking about the types of databases, there are mainly two types of databases. First one is your relational database and the second one is your non-relational database. If we are talking about the relational database stores data in rows and columns. Example, let's suppose student table. In student table, ID, name and marks, these are the column names. Talking about the relational database examples, MySQL, Oracle and PostgreSQL. Now, the second type, that is your non-relational database. Here, data is not necessarily stored in tables. It may store documents, key-value pairs, graphs, or even semi-structured or unstructured. Examples, MongoDB, Firebase. For this course, we will focus on relational database using SQL. So, first of all, what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a programming language used to interact with relational database. It is used to perform CRUD operations. C stands for create, R for read, U for update, and D for delete. Think of SQL as a language through which we talk to the data. What can SQL do? Using SQL, we can create databases, create tables, insert, retrieve, update, and delete the records, manage security. These are the some common SQL commands. Create database, create table, insert into, select, update, and delete. Create database is to create a database. Create table is to create a table. Insert into to add the data in the table. Select to fetch the data from the table. Update to change the data inside the table. Delete to remove the data from the table. These are the some basic SQL commands. When we are talking about the database structure, let's talk about the database structure. Let's understand the structure first. A database contains multiple tables. Each table stores related information. Let's take an example over here. Let's suppose a school database. What's inside the school database? There are a lot of tables like student table, teacher table, course table, fees table. Each table stores different information. This is called database structure. So, first of all, we will go with the table. What is table? A table in a database is a structured way of storing data in rows and columns similar to an Excel sheet. It has rows and columns. Column represents attributes, row represents record. Here you can take the example over here. Let's suppose roll number, name, class, DOB, gender, city, marks. These are your column names, and each row represents one student. Like you can see one roll number Nanda, 2 Saurabh, 3 Sonal, 4 Trisla, 5 Store, 6 Marisla, 7 Neha, and 8 Nisha. Now let's move to MySQL Workbench. Open MySQL. Click on local connection. Open a new SQL tab over here. Now let's create our first database. To create our first database, there is a query over here like this. Create database. I am creating here database by the name of college underscore DB. Then column. If you want to execute this query, there are three options. You can see one is at here and second is here. If you want to execute by the keyboard, then there is a shortcut key Control and Enter. You can execute the query by using Control and Enter. Now, if you want to check whether the database is created or not, you can go in schemas and refresh over here. You can see college DB database is over here. Now, I am creating another database over here. Create database by the name of college. Now, executing this command. Let's suppose we are deleting this, means we want to delete this. Drop database. Which database? College underscore DB. Now, before executing this query, just refresh this first. You can see college and college DB is over here. Now, I am executing this command using keyboard. You can see college DB is over. Removed from here, deleted from here. Suppose database already exists in the system. So what type of command we will use over here? Instead of getting an error, we can write create database if not exist, which one? College underscore DB, and execute. You can see the college underscore DB is not the database inside my system. So it will create using this method. Now, if I want to drop the database using if exists, then you have to apply the query over here. Drop database if exists, which one? College underscore DB. Now again run the query. These commands help avoid unnecessary errors. So let's move forward. Now we will use our database. So to use database, we will use here use command. Use what is your database name? That is your college, colon, then run. Now we are inside the college database. Now we can create a table. Before creating a table, you can run the command like this. Show tables. It will show all the tables inside the college database. There is no table right now in the database. So we will create a table inside a database. So let's move forward. Let's create a new table over here. Create table. I am taking table name as student. Then bracket. Then first of all, which column values will be there in student table? First is your roll number. Roll number. What's the data type of roll number? That is your int. Now, I am using here one keyword, means I am using here primary key. This primary key contains not null values and all the values are unique. We will going to discuss about the primary key here in this video at the end of the video. So let's continue with the creating table. Then you have to apply the comma. So first column is your roll number. Second one is your name. Name is in variable character. So you have to apply here var char. I am applying here constant value, that is 50. Then you have to apply the comma for the next column. Now I am defining here marks. Marks is in float, comma, next place. Place is in varchar. Now the constant value is 50, like this. And in then close the bracket and semicolon. Now run. You can see database table is created. If you want to check, then you can also again run that query show table. You can see a table is created by the name of student in my database. So if you want to check which type of data is taking my table or like other information, if you want to check, there is a describe function over there. If you want to use that function, then there are two methods. You can also use DESC, that is also used for the describe, and if you want to use the full keyword describe, then you can also use that word. So describe, what's the table name? Student. Then semicolon and run. You can see here the fields are roll number, name, marks and place. Type is integer, varchar 50 constant value, float, varchar 50 constant value. No null value in case of roll number because we are using here primary key. Name can contain null value. Marks can also contain null value. Place also contain null value. Next. Now you have created your first SQL table. Now let's insert records inside the table. So inserting the records inside the table, you have to use insert into your table name, student. Then you have to write here all the column names. What's the column name? Roll number, then name, then marks, then place, like this. Now you have to apply the values over here, values function over here to insert the values. What is that first location? Means you have which value you have to place at the first location. You can see in the 18th line, at the first location there is a roll number. I am writing here roll number as 101, comma, name. Name is your variable character. So name is acting as a string over here. So you have to write down the string in inverted comma. I am writing here name as Rahul, comma. Marks can contain float values or even integer values. I am defining here marks as 45.5, place, Mumbai and close, comma. You can perform these steps how many rows or how many data you want to add on, like this. I am taking here three values, Priya, comma 35.5, comma Delhi, like this. Again 103, comma the another name is Aman, comma I am taking here integer value instead of float value. So Lucknow, like this, close. When you are ending the values inside the data, then you have to, in the end, you have to use the semicolon and then run. Now retrieve the data. Retrieving the data means you want to show all the data, what type of data is stored in my table. So you have to apply here select star. Star means select all from, what's your table name? Student. Then semicolon, then run. You can see the values we are inserting previously, all the values are inserted in my table. So every column stores a specific type of data. Common data types are integer, varchar, float, date, boolean. You can see we have used over here. You can see we have used here integer, varchar, float, date, boolean are also used over here. For small numbers, MySQL also provides training in its sports signed and unsigned values. Let's move further. SQL commands are divided into 5 categories. So first is your DDL. DDL stands for Data Definition Language. It can perform, if we are talking about the examples, it can perform create, alter, drop, truncate. These 4 operations. You can also perform rename using DDL, Data Definition Language. Rename. And the second one is your DML. DML stands for Data Manipulation Language. DML. Data Manipulation Language. It can perform insert, update, and the last one is your delete operations. This is used for these 3 operations. Next is your DQL, Data Query Language. This is used to just perform one operation, that is your select, means to retrieve the data. Next is your DCL. DCL. It is used to perform 2 operations, that is your grant and the second one is your revoke. These 2 operations will be performed by DCL. There is one last, that is your TCL. Last one is your TCL. TCL is used to perform commit, 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 rollback, and the last one is your start transaction. These 3 queries, or you can say 3 commands, are used or done by TCL, transaction control language. So now let's understand first of all keys that we have already done in the SQL. Here you can see the key we are using till now, that is your primary key. So let's understand the keys first. There are 2 types of keys. First one is your primary key. And the second one is your foreign key. FOREIGN, foreign key. Primary key uniquely identifies every row. Talking about the rules of primary key, first rule is cannot be null. Means in case of primary key, no null values allowed over there. It contains no duplicate elements. Means no duplicate values stored over there. No duplicate. Third, only one primary key per table. Means per table you can store, you can take only one primary key. Per table, one primary key. If we are talking about the foreign key, it is used to connect tables. What's the main function of foreign key? Used to connect 2 tables. How? In case of primary key, we are saying here per table you have only one primary key. But it references, in case of foreign key, it references the primary key of another table. Means it reference the primary key of another table. One table can have multiple foreign keys. Means in this case you can take multiple foreign keys inside a table, because in foreign key it is a reference of primary key of another. Now let's move forward. The next topic is your constraints. Constraints are rules that improve data quality. Some important constants are number one is your not null, means it cannot take any null value. Unique means all the values inside the table column will be unique. Primary key, we have already done this primary key. Next, foreign key, we have also done this foreign key. Next, default. This default constant is used to add the default values to the column. Check. This constant value to check whether the condition is satisfying or not. Means let's suppose in case of like elections, in case of elections, the person whose age is greater than 18, can vote. Otherwise, it can't cast their vote. These rules ensures that incorrect data cannot be inserted into the database. And that's it for today's session. Today we covered database, types of database, SQL, database structure, table, creating database, creating table, inserting data, SQL data types, SQL commands, primary and foreign keys, constants. In the next lecture, we will continue with the next topic, including filtering data with where operators, sorting, and aggregate functions. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, comment your questions, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.